The purpose of the Global CFO Council is to provide an educational and networking forum for senior financial executives in order to share best practices, discuss current financial issues, and to learn about current topics related to the performance of their jobs.
Stephen, good morning. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing great, and thanks for being so flexible
Good.
and agreeing to reschedule this. I very much appreciate that.
Absolutely. No problem.
Stephen, I found some stuff on the internet about you. I'm very excited to share with you, and I'm gonna get into a question which I think is on the minds of many listeners. But let's start off with Stephen Voorhees is the VP of Finance and Accounting at Big G Express. Is that correct, sir?
That is correct.
Looks like that's about a 700 employee owned via the ESOP Transportation and Trucking Company in Nashville, Tennessee.
It is.
We're also an ESOP at Lifecycle Engineering, so kudos and congratulations.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a great benefit for our employees.
Question, Stephen,
Yeah.
since you're living in Nashville here, is it Nashville or Memphis that has the best barbecue?
Oh gosh, I would say it's Memphis for sure. Yeah,
Oh my
absolutely.
gosh, that's a shock, folks.
Yeah.
That's a shock. Well, if I'm in Nashville, which I'm going to be soon, and I've only got time for one barbecue restaurant, do you recommend Peg Leg Pokers or Peg Leg Porkers or Martin's?
I would say Martin's for sure.
And Stephen, did you get your undergrad from Washington State University?
I did.
Certified public accountant?
Correct.
And an active volunteer, and I think you have the same lament as I. I noticed you're an active volunteer in soccer clubs and the Rotary and your industry association. And I saw almost the same thing I see every time I talk to accountants, is that you're the treasurer everywhere you volunteer.
Well, yes and no. I'm actually the chairman of the National Accounting and Finance Council, which is a part of the American Trucking Association. So I got off the treasurer track there, but yes, most of the time I'm absolutely the treasurer on like the other 5 boards that I'm on. So,
Well done. Let's get started, Stephen. I'm going to hit you up with question number 1, which
okay.
is, what is your favorite business book and why?
Oh gosh, that's so hard to answer. I'm an avid reader. I can tell you right now I'm reading Principles by Ray Dalio, which is a challenging book. It's pretty thick and it's there's a lot to dig into, but I would say, so let me drop it down to 2. I think Simon Sinek's Start With Why is probably one of my favorite books. And the reason for that is I think it is important for everyone to understand it, not only in business, but personally. When you do something, it's not just what you do, it's why you do it, right? So, I mean, diving in to really understand, why does your business do what they do? It's more than just making money, right? There's a grander, more purposeful reason that your business does what they do. And really beginning to understand that, I think, is a differentiator for businesses. And then personally, why do you do what you do? Why do I serve on 5 boards, right? Why do I go to church? Why do I do my family the way, raise my family the way I do? Everything in your life, I think it's more important to understand why you do it than just what you do. So that book dives in really, really deep into that whole idea, and it's something that I've embraced pretty dramatically. And then the other book that I really, really like is John Doerr's Measure What Matters. So it's all about, what's really important to you, again, whether it's personally or professionally. And I'll delve into that probably in your upcoming questions, but really measuring what's important in your life. So I'd recommend both of those books. They're fairly short reads. They're pretty easy. Again, I'm an avid reader. I think I'm on pace to read 30 books this year. So.
Wow, that is impressive. I need to step up my reading game, Stephen. Wow. Well, those are 2 great recommendations. Let's kick it into question number 2, which is, what is the best advice that you've ever received?
Okay, so I'm going to follow my dual path again because I think there I've been given two pieces of great advice. And the first one is back when I was really, really young, one of my mentors at times said, God gave you 2 ears and one mouth, and you should use them in proportion, right? I think today listening skills have become challenging. Everybody listens so that they can answer rather than actually listening to the person that you're talking to, what they're actually trying to convey. So, that would be my first piece of advice that I try and live by. I'm not always greatly successful, but it's always in the back of my mind. And then the other piece of advice is be a lifelong learner, right? So when you think you've got all the answers and you've arrived and you've got it all figured out, it's probably time to hang it up. So those are probably the two pieces of advice that I've appreciated and try and really hold to.
Yeah, the older I get, the dumber I feel and the smarter my parents are. It's really weird.
Add to that.
You know?
Yes.
Yeah, they were like super dumb when I was 18. And now I'm like 45 and I'm like, man, my mom is really smart.
Yeah.
It's crazy how that happens. I hope that happens to my teenagers at some point.
Well, and I have teenagers, so right now I'm probably one of the dumbest people on earth, and I look forward to that transition where I become smart again.
Stephen, what about a tool that you've recently started using or a habit that you've recently picked up that you have found beneficial?
Yeah. So, as I get older, I think, personal fitness is super important, right? And I know this is going to probably sound cliche, but so I have dedicated this year to putting in 2,500 miles on the Peloton. And as of October, I'm already there. So I'll probably hit 3,200. And what's crazy is, and this kind of goes back to the whole measure what matters thing. I don't just jump on in the morning, right? Like I have a spreadsheet that's tracked every workout I've done since January 1st. And so I can watch myself progress, right? It's as much about continuing to improve than it is just putting in the hours. So I get up at between 4 and 4:30 every day and crunch it out. Long rides are on the weekends. So, but I can tell you, getting up in the morning and working out gives me mental acumen in the morning that is just amazing. When I take one day off a week, and that one day off, I just feel totally different. So just a suggestion. And whether it's, I was a runner. Now as I get older, it's harder on my knees and all that stuff. So I've really transitioned to spin bike. And it's a lot of fun. I have a good time.
Amen. Oh, Stephen is bringing it today. Next question, Stephen, which is, what is your favorite part about your current job?
Okay, so actually it's crazy because, your typical accountant, CPA, probably they would say, analysis and all that stuff. For me, I'm a very relational person. So I love the relationship side of it, the ambassador side. It's part of the reason I do all these, industry boards and, whether it's whatever provider, whether it's my insurance people or various bankers that I deal with, I love the relationship piece. Like it's probably the most fun I have is just going out and being a great ambassador for my company. So.
Wow, that is a new answer I've not heard before, Stephen. You just really love your banking and insurance relationships. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well done. I bet you get good rates. I need to try that.
I do pretty well, actually. So yeah,
That'll help you during renewal.
There you go. Yeah, we just went through our renewal and we had a great renewal. So,
Stephen, question number 5. What is something that you wouldn't mind sharing with the rest of the members?
Yeah. So, I think, when you talk about faith and family, really why I get up in the morning right? Why I do what I do, why I work as much as I do. That's the answer, right? I mean, I'm a Christ follower. I don't do it perfectly, but I do the best I can. I wake up every day, hoping to glorify Him. And then my family, man, like I've been so blessed. Like I have, so I've been married to my wife for 28 years.
Well done.
Yeah, she's followed me all over the place. So we've lived, gosh, Washington, California, 3 years in Costa Rica, Atlanta, now we're in Nashville. So my wife's a saint to follow me all over the place. And then I've got two great kids. So my son is 19. He just graduated high school last year. And in looking at what he was going to do in the future, he's a great soccer player. He was offered a soccer scholarship. But really in evaluating his life, decided he kind of needed a break from school. So he went and joined the Army. So he is actually, I think, in his 10th week of infantry training. And it's been amazing for him, the transformation I've seen. We talk about teenagers thinking their parents are dumb. I mean, it has accelerated his maturity in 10 weeks. I can't even believe it. And then my daughter's actually a senior. My kids are 16 months apart. So she's actually looking at colleges, and it's been a great experience for her. She's definitely my student, wants to go into nursing. And I mean, again, I'm super blessed to have a great family. So.
Well, Stephen, last question, number 6. It happened so fast.
Yeah.
Is something that I should have asked, but I haven't. And what is your answer to that?
Sure. So, I mean, I think, it's interesting as I look at my journey. I think the question would be, what got you where you are, right? How did you get on this track to, graduating from college and becoming basically CFO of a 700 truck, $100 million, $150 million company combined? And I think I would answer that in mentorship. So I've had 3 amazing mentors in my life. My first one was, I didn't do the public accounting route. I stayed in industry my entire life. So my first great mentor was former PwC auditor. And he really just taught me kind of the ins and outs of, how to manage a balance sheet effectively, how to look at your P&L, all the typical kind of accounting, auditing types of things. Then I went to work for a guy who was a former investment banker, and he really taught me the art of the deal, which I actually love today. So he really taught me about how do you work deals. And then I went to work for a guy who had started his own company. It was a facilities management company. And he really taught me about how do you serve your customers well, whether that's internal customers or external customers. And really, I think, the combination of wisdom that those 3 people put into me has really made me the person that I am today. And I'm eternally grateful for that. So.
Well, I am eternally grateful that you agreed to do this interview. I have learned a ton. I think I noticed a theme, whether you're talking about family or faith, how you're a leader and a reader. I noticed a common thread here around relationships and how important that is to you. So thank you for bringing that and sharing all that you shared today. This was awesome. Thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, when you think about it, like, what do we take with us? All we take is relationships, right? So absolutely. Amen. It's been great. Appreciate it.
Amen. Well, have a great day. Thank you, sir.
You too. You bet. Take care. Bye.